Go back to image mode. You have a couple different ways of doing this adjustment. You go to levels. You can even go to exposure. Here we can back off on the black a little bit easier by opening up the whites here. See this? You can even see it now. You can go with, I like to pick a spot. Notice I got to go to the same spots. I only came down 53% on the black. 47. So let's see what that looks like. Don't worry about your printing bill. It's for my class. Somebody gives you hassle, right? So what printer, then the different printers do different things. If you get freaked out with like maybe your inkjet printer at home, you know, looks better. And that's my front camera, right? So it's bad. It's a bad camera, which I kind of like. If we're trying to correct to the bad camera. So it's not quite there yet. This is too much black and maybe needs a little bit more red. So I just showed you the two basic ways to do that. Curves, do you notice I went to R, I went to G, and I went to B. I selected R and then G and the B and I moved it the direction I needed it to go. And did you notice I didn't move it that far? Ooh, that's a little better. Look at that, guys. A little bit of red came back in my face. Let's pass all three around. I'm going to fan them out. Or should we put them on the table? Because look, we started here. Sorry, Josh. We went here, now we're here. A little more red. It's getting better, don't you think? So it's going to take you a little while. You guys have never done this before? And you got to just the way it is. Now, you don't have the devices to go and change everything, right? Like to calibrate everything. But guess what? If you were like a wedding photographer or something, you probably want to pay for the like calibrate everything. How many of you have like fancy cameras? What kind is it?
Canon model.
What's its predominant color what have you noticed? It probably has a predominant color.
It depends on the lens actually.
Really? So
yeah,
I'll
like the kit lens makes everything blue.
Yeah, Nikon go blue. Canon's kit lens, like sometimes, I mean, Nikon's go blue. Canon goes, with other lenses go warm. Because my buddy's goes warm. There must be the lens. So it could be the lens. It's how it's getting filtered. Think about it. The light's going through the lens and it's getting filtered. And that sensor is picking it up. So here's what this is what you have to do. You can't just take the pictures. You actually have to write me a 2-paragraph description of what's going on. What did you change? What did you do? What were the numbers? What was the original problem? Right? This is the essay is actually the thing that's more important than the pictures, right? Showing me that you actually grappled with this. That scanner has a predominant color, believe it or not. If you were to scan something in, we can count the scanner as a. So what am I missing? What can we do to make this go back to? Should we reference the original now? Oops. Wow, it's getting a little better. It's a little still what, would you say? And we might not think it's at full brightness, but it's getting better. It's a little green, what do you say?
Yeah, I think it's
So we need to back off on the blue a little bit more. So what we're going to do is going to go to Image, Adjustments, Curves. I'm going to go to the blue, and I'm going to back off on the blue.
Did you say it was too green?
Yeah, it's too green. So we don't want to add it. We want to warm it up. So I'm going to take away some of the blue because it's too green.
But isn't
I'm going to take away green too, don't worry.
That's what I was confused.
Yeah. I'm going to do both. Green. I made it more green. There we go. Notice I'm going, you can just go based on the numbers. Notice I went from 122 to 117. You can just come in here and be like, okay, was it 122? You can go, whoop, it's 119. You know? Oops. Ooh, there we go. 119. Right? You can just go off the numbers. That's what I tend to do. But it's kind of fun just to know that the bar's there to kind of see it. But you can just put in the numbers, the numerical value. So, light, the way you guys work in light is all based on numbers. The computer's just using numbers. It doesn't know what color it is. It's just saying 199 magenta, or 199R, 199G, 199B. Like, isn't that crazy? And then the way this monitor filters things is different too, because this monitor's brightness is different than other monitors' brightnesses. PCs are different than, you know, Sony's versus the Samsung. If we were to project everything up there, it would look even more different. So this is teaching you how to like kind of look at something, surmise it, see what color. This is using the skills you guys have just acquired. What's going on? How can I affect the change? Should we print this? Any questions up to this point? Yeah.
So basically, the assignment is take an image and try and get the printout to match what the original scene looked like.
Yeah, but the other
Possible.
thing I want
And
you to
track
do,
all your
this is the last thing. I want you to match it in the computer if it's not right. So you have two places you have to match it. So the bonus thing is to do this first and then go back to your original file and see if you can make it look good in the computer. Because what if it's going to go on a website? This is the bonus part of the assignment. Does this make sense?
Bonus like extra credit or bonus
Yeah,
like
it could
we
be
have to
extra
do
credit.
it?
I would do it.
Okay.
So
Well-
to make it look okay again?
Yeah, how do you make it go back? How do you make, because remember the file I brought in was all jacked up. We'll go back to the original file. How do I make it look good in the computer, not as a printout? Notice that it looks really janky here. I mean, it's a little better, wouldn't you say? It's getting to be a little better. How did that new printout come out? Titch. Yeah, it's good. It's going to be tough because it's a really bad picture, right? But it's a little warmer now. It's not so dark. It's getting, so you notice how you can go down a rabbit hole of subtleties. But we could all argue that these two are better than this one. And this one, right? It's a little more warmth. It has a little cool. This is a fine-tuned thing. You can come in if you want to come in with printouts like this to show me your process. That's fine. But what I also want to see is the original file. You have to email me the original file, and you have to do a screen capture of the way it looks like when it comes in. So, for example,
Okay.
I'll show you how to do a screen capture. If we go back to the beginning, where we started, right? And if you hit Shift, Command, and 4 on this computer, I don't know what it is on your computers, you can Google search it. We can take a picture of this thing. And that you can show me what it looks like, right, on your computer screen. Because trust me, this is going to look a lot different than your original file. If you send me your original file as it is from your camera, make sure I can read it. Make sure it's a JPEG so I can read it. If it's coming from a fancy camera, don't send it to me as the, raw file. Does everything? Does that make sense? So this gets us into a pigment land and in light land. Isn't that funny? How many of you have thought of that as being pigment before? But that's what it is. Now, what would you guys say? What would you say the phaser's predominant color? Is it a cool system or a warm system? What would you say from these printouts? It's pretty. The colors are pretty blue, right? The magenta's really blue, right? The cyan. CMYK systems tend to be blue. That big inkjet printer in there, it's all cool colors. It's because cool colors mix together to make colors better than warm colors. But Hewlett-Packard's, the Hewlett-Packard they have over yonder in the print shop, it's heavy on, it's a warm printer. It's weird. So every printer is going to be different. So I want you to ask some questions. So this is your 2 paragraphs. I need 2 paragraphs describing the color system that you're based in. What you noticed right away. Oh, this is warm. This is really black. My image is really warm. It's really black. I need to make it cooler, right? I need to make it less black. And then describe to me what you did. And then describe how you were successful. So it's kind of a 2-paragraph description of what do you see, and then what did you do to become successful. You have to write it up for me. I don't want just the visuals, because I know the visuals are going to be wonky. So what you're going to have to me is an email, right? Or you could come with hard copies, and some, you have to remember, you have to send me the original file somehow. And some printouts of, if you want to do printouts, you can, or you can do screen captures. Those screen captures on the photo, on this Mac go all to the desktop. So here's a screen capture. All right, this is our original. Huh. Let's see, that's kind of the same. It is the same. All right. Should we do another image just to do it again? Or no? You guys get it?
I got it.
So here's the thing. Play around with different printers. You can print this, if you don't have Photoshop, then you're kind of limited to this lab, but this lab is here for you. I want you to take a picture of something that you're interested in. Try to take the best picture of it you can. Like try to get the lighting the way you want it. Like just love on it a little bit. Take a picture of something that you're just excited to take a picture of. I mean, it could just be like, click, I'm excited about that right over there. That's fine with me, right? But It's because you're going to be messing with it. I want you to kind of dial it in. Maybe you have to take a picture of something you don't like. The other thing that I want to show you, and this is just a bonus, I wouldn't do this. You notice that we were working in RGB. It's all numbers. You can also switch to CMYK. The problem with switching to CMYK is that it's not the original system it came in on. So in Photoshop, you can change to CMYK, but watch, it's going to change the colors. If we go to mode and we go to CMYK, you hit OK. Did you see how the color changed?
Mm-hmm.
So if I undo it, look what happened. So
Crazy.
CMYK is trying to account for just the pigments. It's trying to make it look like you're going to print it in CMYK. And if we go to the info, where's info? Window. Turn on info. We still get the RGB values, but like, for example, we measure here now. It's just a weird system. Some people can go into CMYK, and I'll show you why. The numbers stay the same, but when you go to image, you go to mode, and you go to adjustments, and you go to curves, you're going to see something. Actually, it didn't change it, did it?
Because you undid it.
I undid it. That's right. Sorry. CMYK. Okay. When you go to, notice I made it darker. When you go to adjustments and you go to curves, look what you have. You have CMYK instead of RGB. Now you can mess around with this. I'd like you to mess around in RGB so you understand about positive and negative, what's happening when you take away and add green, red, and blue. Do you notice I was using blue as my dark? You know what I mean? Like it's like you kind of have to understand the blue's making it dark.
Is the black in the same area? Like with the drop down? Because you were kind of messing with the black in the RGB.
Black, I was just changing the values of the RGB and it changed.
Well,
That's
you
why.
went to levels
Oh,
also.
I went to levels,
Yeah.
too.
Is that in this?
It,
screen?
yeah,
Yeah.
so it's when you did the image
Yeah.
adjustments curves, there's image adjustments levels.
Oh.
So it's
So,
right beside it.
If you wanted to change, this is kind of answers both questions. Yes, you can go to levels and do it, but look what happens when you change it to CMYK. You can just click on black.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
But you
Thi-
were always working in RGB.
Well, I want you to start with RGB. Look what's happening. You can get rid of the mid-tone blacks. When you use curves, this is called when I pull it back like this, I'm only doing the mid-tones. You can also do this. This is like the dark tones. These are all really sophisticated tools. I don't expect you to be pros at these by any means. But now look, if I come over here, this looks a lot better. Now I have 30% black. Let's print that. Look how much brighter it looks. So one of the things is I just want you in there messing around with these tools. I want you looking at the numbers. All of you are going to start off by looking at the visual because you're just used to that. But I want you to have a conversation about the numbers when you write your essay a little bit. Like, man, it started at 60. I had to back off to 30. Look how kind of washed out I got. I took away too much. Right? Pretty frank. Now you guys know how they make their filters in Instagram. Make things look old. Old 35mm cameras were predominantly red. They had a lot the red. There was just something about the film, 35mm film. If you look at old pictures of your parents, they were kind of red, really warm. That's the Kodak. That's the development system. Like it turned things red. Even if you see the negatives are red, a reddish hue. And so the funny thing about these systems is that they have a predominant warm or a cool kind of, they lean some way. I don't know. Do you guys know what your monitor leans? Is it warm or cool? I don't know. You'll find out. So this is going to be fun, but it's going to be fussy for you because you've never done it before. If you have any questions, you can email me. I'll walk you through it. You can call me. It's just knowing where you're basically only using curves and levels, and you're going to window and you're picking right info. You're going to info and you're measuring something. And then you're printing it till it gets close to your original file. If you want, you can open your original file and have it open here, right? Looking at it, going, meh. Look at, and to see how much it's changed. Now, this is a problem, guys. This is a problem. That those of you who are designers, this is more of a problem than it is. Well, it's, for photographers, it's a problem. For, let's say you wanted to have your paintings photographed and printed on an inkjet printer to sell them, right? You have to know how to color correct. But what if you go to a printer and they're printing 200,000 copies of your book? you're gonna you